festival. And we had originally thought that this would be the closing of the festival, but Krishna wanted more of his beloved daughters, and Mother Jagatam has added a session tomorrow. So what I'm not clear about is if today is the end of the Krishna Katha festival and tomorrow is just to celebrate Srila Prabhupada, or if it's just one big joyous festival. So regardless, we're just so happy to be graced by these wonderful senior Vaishnavis who are here to guide and inspire and encourage us along the way. My name is Kamaniya. I'm your MC for today, and I'm absolutely delighted and so grateful to welcome one of my favorite Vaishnavis, Mother Vraja Lila, and who's going to be speaking today, celebrating Lord Krishna's advent, recommitting and rededicating ourselves to live by the will of Lord Krishna. And Mother Vraja Lila is such a special devotee for so many reasons. One being her Gurudev, His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami. And he certainly needs no introduction. We miss him very much, and I didn't even meet him. So I'll just read you a little bit briefly from Mother Vraja Lila's bio. She began practicing Bhakti Yoga in 1979. Within a year of initiation, her Guru Maharaj Bhakti Tirtha Swami sent her to West Africa, where she spent 10 years assisting with pioneering ISKCON temples. She later helped Maharaj with the development of the Institute of Applied Spiritual Technology. In 1995, she and her husband Ekavira Prabhu took on leadership roles in Gitanagari, where they currently live in the home of Bhakti Tirtha Swami, where he left his body. They were Maharaj's primary caretakers for 1 year during his illness with melanoma cancer. Mother Vraja Lila served as a member of the GBC Devotee Care Committee. Both she and her husband currently serve on the Grihastha Vision team. She has taught meditation and conflict resolution internationally and has traveled worldwide in the devotee community, teaching workshops on devotee care and relationship building. A graduate from Berkeley University in America, she's a certified trainer in conflict resolution, mediation, and nonviolent communication. Now, for our friends on the other side of the pond in America, it's already Janmashtami for you, so happy Janmashtami. So today it's Janmashtami for Mother Vraja Lila, so we have extra blessings. Thank you so much, Mother Vraja Lila. We are very eager to hear from you. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, Hare Krishna, Haribol. Haribol, Sadhvi team, thank you so very much to all the organizers. I'm so very grateful to have been invited to be a part of this amazing Sangha, where you've been having amazing Vaishnavis share every single day. Just to be able to be a part of the Sangha for me is a gift. It's a Janmashtami gift. And I thank all of you. So today we are excited. We're so very excited, because not only is it Krishna Janmashtami, of course, that's the greatest day in all of our lives. Today, we're also giving some honor or some appreciation for Srila Prabhupada. So we'll start our presentation with a little prayer, and then we will talk about being grateful to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pastatya Deshataride. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Tirtha Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Shtakmane Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhakti Tirtha Iti Namine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudhi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Haribol. Thank you, Saradia, for such beautiful organization for the Vaishnavis. So when we think of Janmashtami, at least when I think of Janmashtami, I cannot in any way be more grateful to Srila Prabhupada for giving me an opportunity in this lifetime to be able to hear and to be able to share some things about our beloved Lord Krishna. If not for Srila Prabhupada in my own personal life, I wouldn't know anything about Janmashtami. I know that around the world, especially in South Africa and other places, that devotees are aware of Lord Krishna. They are aware of Janmashtami. However, those of us that took birth in the West, we, at least for me, I didn't have any knowledge at all about Lord Krishna. And so without Srila Prabhupada's mercy, without Srila Prabhupada coming here to America, then of course, you know, we would have been bereft of learning about the Supreme Lord. And so it just seems appropriate for me to be able to start the presentation with offering my respects to Srila Prabhupada and to offer my gratitude and gratitude from all of us, I'm sure, for Srila Prabhupada. So I wanted to share just a few things about Srila Prabhupada that we are all, most of us, I'm sure, aware. However, just in offering gratitude, it seems so appropriate to know that it was Janmashtami, it was Janmashtami Day, the annual celebration of the Advent of Krishna. This is our title, it's celebrating the Advent of Krishna 5,000 years ago, that the home of Srila Prabhupada, everyone was celebrating. So Prabhupada, as we all know, his family was in Calcutta, and that there were so many different people celebrating for Janmashtami, not just Indians, but there were Muslims, not just Hindus, Muslims of course are Indians also, not just Hindus, but there are Muslims, and there was even some British people there. They were observing the festive day, and people were moving around in the city, and people were visiting temples, and the Vaishnavas were fasting and waiting for midnight. They're chanting the holy names, and the birth and activities of Krishna was so alive. And so during that time, you know, while everyone is fasting, the next day, September 1st, 1896, the very next day after Janmashtami, in a little house in this place called Tuluje. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. It was in a suburb of Calcutta, this little house. And here, this male child was born. So when he was born on the day after Janmashtami, as we shared, and the day after Janmashtami is the day that Krishna's father, Nanda Maharaj, had observed a festival in honor of Krishna's birth. So when Prabhupada is born, on that same day, Nanda Maharaj, of course, many years before that, 5,000 years before that, Nanda Maharaj is celebrating. They're having this big celebration for Krishna's appearance. And so Srila Prabhupada's uncle called him Nandulal. However, the father and mother, they had a whole different name for Srila Prabhupada. And so Srila Prabhupada, of course, you know, was given by Gaur Mohan Dey and Radharan and Rajani. He was given the name by Charan Dey. And that name, as many of us know, means fearless. He took shelter, having taken shelter at Krishna's lotus feet. And, you know, in accordance with Bengali tradition, the mother had gone to the home of her parents for the delivery of the child. I even here in America, actually, that's done in some homes, some homes where there is still some culture. And so, so this was a few miles on the bank of the Adi Ganga. And this was some miles away from the father's home. And so the mother went there, and in a small 2-room mud house with a tiled roof, underneath a jackfruit tree, Abhay Charan was born. And a few days later, Abhay returned back to his parents' home in Calcutta. And his address is 151 Harrison Road. So that's famous for Srila Prabhupada. And then an astrologer did the horoscope for the child. And the family everybody was, very excited because remember, it's the day after Janmashtami. Everybody's so excited. And so the reading of this astrologer was a specific prediction, very specific for Srila Prabhupada. And he says, when this child reached the age of 70, that he would cross the ocean and become a great exponent of religion. And he would open 108 temples. So Srila Prabhupada's life, as we got to know him, as we got to know him in America, I came in 1975. So actually I did not get to meet Srila Prabhupada. However, I was very fortunate to come at a time when many of his senior disciples, I joined in New York, and there were many senior disciples there. Many of them were grieving at the time. And so that mood of Srila Prabhupada was very intense in the temple in New York City. And the devotees, they were grieving at the same time. They were very enthusiastic to carry on Srila Prabhupada's mission. And so everyone was finding different ways of what they could do. And I came at that time and was really, I somehow got swept into that enthusiasm of wanting to carry on Srila Prabhupada's mission. And so that was in New York in 1979. And of course we know that that Srila Prabhupada, he came to America in 1966. So Srila Prabhupada, we're gonna just move a little bit into Prabhupada coming to America, because that's such an important time for us, right? Because now it's already predicted he's going to open 108 temples. And of course, Prabhupada went through so many things and so many hardships before he actually even came to America. And I wanted to read something that Prabhupada himself said, just very briefly. He said, "Today the ship is plying smoothly. I feel today better, but I'm feeling separation from Sri Vrindavan and my lords, Sri Govinda, Gopinath, Radha Damodar." And if you can see on my screen, the beautiful deities of Shri Radha Damodar that we worship here in Gitanagari are on the top right up there. So these deities are here, Radha Damodar, not the original Radha Damodar that Srila Prabhupada worshipped in Vrindavan. However, he personally brought these, arranged for these deities, Radha Damodar, to be sent here. And these are worshipful deities here in Shri Gitanagari Dham. And so Prabhupada continues, "My only solace is Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which I am tasting the nectarine of Chaitanya's Lila. I have left Bart Bhumi just to execute the order of Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in pursuance of Chaitanya's order. I have no qualification, but I've taken up the risk just to carry out the order of his divine grace. I depend fully on their mercy, so far away from Vrindavan." So this is on the Jaladuta, September 10th, 1965. 1965, Prabhupada came in that year. And then His Holiness Sastarup Maharaj, in the Lilamrita, he says, when we consider Srila Prabhupada's identity as Lord Krishna's empowered representative, the years of struggle described in this volume take on a special sweetness. And this is one of my favorite books, is the Lilamrita, because there's so much to learn about Srila Prabhupada from reading Sastarup Maharaj's sharing on Prabhupada. And he says that although he struggled through many hardships, his struggles were not those of an ordinary man. For he lived solely to carry out the will of Guru and Krishna. So our presentation today is about carrying out the will of Krishna. And we have our example of who we look to when we think about the will of Krishna. What does that mean for us as Vaishnavis? And so Srila Prabhupada is that person that exemplified the will of Krishna. And so at this time, we're going to take a little reflection break. This is a different kind of presentation. And so we pray that you will, I want to say enjoy Janmashtami by being reflective. And so today we will share something very special as we reflect on Srila Prabhupada. And in your reflections, if you would like, this is absolutely your choice, you can write on the chat something about your reflection about Srila Prabhupada as we carry on with the Janmashtami presentation. Now we will, let's see how this will work. We will start with our little 3-minute reflection. It's a 3-minute reflection time. Okay. The presentation. Oh, slideshow. Okay. Where's Londa slideshow?
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much. So for those of you that may not know, we have our beautiful Kamaniya that's singing the Maha Mantra. She is a professional musician, and many of the devotees are not aware. And we had to twist her arm quite a lot for her to share her amazing gift of singing on Janmashtami. I had to convince her somehow that this is Krishna's Janmashtami. And Prabhupada, he explains, he says in one of his conversations in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 7:942, for those of you that might want to read the entire conversation, he said, it is not at all possible to become independent of Krishna's will. It is not at all possible to become independent of Krishna's will. That is not possible. And so, my dear Kamaniya, it is Krishna's will today for you to sing for the Vaishnavis. And what better way to be chanting for Srila Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada's tune, right? Thank you so much. So now we're going to go a little bit into this presentation. Now, all week long, we've been having these amazing, amazing Vaishnavis sharing pastimes about the Lord. And every devotee, every Vaishnavi that have shared, if you haven't seen, if some of you have not seen the sharings of the Vaishnavis, please, please listen. Because each one of those sharings, there's so much, so many lessons, and it's just so powerful, spiritually empowering to listen to these ladies share. And so we will not go back into the entire pastime because it's there for us. However, I will just share on a few points of the pastime that for me has specific relevance. And one of those is studying the life or studying the qualities or the characteristics of Devaki. Devaki, this pure soul who Krishna chose to enter, to have her be the person that would let Krishna advent into all of this world. And so Devaki has this quality of purity. And Krishna explains, although we know that this is Lila, Krishna, he explains in that pastime that he came to Devaki specifically because she was qualified. He thought she was the one that could let him come here for us, come to Golok. And so in this pastime of Devaki, what I found interesting was Devaki was fearful of Kamsa at a point. Even though Devaki knew, she was aware that that Krishna was going to take birth. And she knew that Krishna, she knew Krishna, of course, he could kill Kamsa. It's something she was fully aware of. Yet, what had caught my attention with this pastime is she was still afraid. She was still fearful. So how do we understand this? Devaki is fully protected by Krishna, fully protected. At the same time, this emotion, this fear emotion is coming up for her. And we understand, all the atrocities of Kamsa, her 6 children getting killed. And of course, she's fearful, not because she didn't protect her. She's fearful because of her motherly affection. And she explains in this pastime of Krishna's appearance, the advent of Lord Krishna. She starts praying because this fear has become overwhelming. It's overwhelming her. And she's realizing, why is this fear emotion so strong? I know that Krishna can kill Kamsa, and there was nothing she could do about it. This motherly affection for a child is so strong, which is why Srila Prabhupada, he explains that when we call on the holy names, we need to call on the holy names in the mood of a child, because the affection between a child and a parent is just so amazingly, connected. It's so strong. So here was Devaki. She's praying to Krishna. And one of the beautiful things about Devaki praying to Krishna to help her to relieve herself of this fear that she's feeling for Kamsa, which she's really not understanding at all, is in these prayers, she's saying these amazing things to Krishna. She's saying, you're the origin of the cosmic manifestation. You are the origin. When we read the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada, he so nicely explains to us in the first 6 chapters. Well, actually, starting with chapter 7, he starts explaining. Prabhupada explains so much. Krishna speaks to Arjuna about who he is, who Krishna really is. And so Devaki, she knows this. You can tell that she is aware. She's aware of the knowledge of Arjuna. She's aware of the knowledge that Krishna gave to Arjuna, because she is saying this in her prayers to Krishna. She's saying, you are the origin of the entire cosmic manifestation. You are a Brahman. You are effulgent like the sun. You are free from change and deviation. You have no material cause, right? 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, no material cause. You have you are everything. Everything comes from you. Everything. You're the cause of all causes. You're the substance according to the Vedas. She's praying in this very sincere mood to become free from this fear of Kamsa, because she understands that only Krishna's sweet will can free her from this fear that she's experiencing, even though she knows it's not warranted. Fear is not warranted, right? So she goes on as she prays, and she says, because of you, this wonderful creation works under your control. She speaks to Krishna in her prayers about time. She goes on to explain what time means. Who is time? Krishna is time. And she also goes on to share about the 4 principles of birth, or old age, disease, and death. So Devaki is very knowledgeable about who Krishna is. And she's using that knowledge in prayer to ask Krishna, please free me from this fear. And so, my dear devotees, as His Holiness Satchidananda Maharaj says, we also have so much fear most of the time, especially now, right? In these times that we're living in, there's just so many things to be afraid of. However, one of the things that's important for us to reflect on is, normally at least for me, in my conditioned state, I am always afraid of things related to my body, or things related to what I want, or things related to what I'm not getting. For example, one of my greatest fears is to be without shelter of another person, which is really amazing, you know, because we know Krishna is our only shelter. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he teaches us, he gives us all these principles, right? He says Krishna is our only protector. Krishna is our only maintainer. I think this fear for me comes from having served my Guru Maharaj since I became a devotee. You know, I became a devotee in 1979, and I met His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj at that time, and he wasn't a guru, he was a sannyasi. And I don't know if I've ever shared this story to anyone. However, he was, you know, he was a sannyasi, and so he couldn't initiate me when I came. And I wanted to be initiated. And so his sannyas guru at the time was Kirtanananda Maharaj Prabhu. And so he recommended me to go to New Vrindavan to get initiated by Kirtanananda, because, as I said, he was not able to initiate me. And so he made all the arrangements. And when I went to New Vrindavan, at the ceremony of my initiation, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, he was doing the yagya. And I got this name, Vraja Lila, right? I got my beads at the time from Kirtanananda. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was traveling, and he had made arrangements with Radhanath Maharaj that I would be cared for while I was there, because they were such good friends. They are such good friends. And so what happened when, you know, after I got my beads, I got my name. And so many years later, I was having a conversation with Radhanath Maharaj at the Samadhi of my spiritual master, Bhakti Tirtha Swami, who for me is my spiritual master in my heart, because since I met him, he's the only person I serve. Actually, when I got initiated, I went back from New Vrindavan to Washington, D.C. to serve Bhakti Tirtha Swami. And so many years later, as I said, at the Samadhi, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj left his body and I'm speaking with Radhanath Swami, and we're talking about initiation, and we're sharing about that particular initiation, because he had done the yagya. And he said, oh, I also gave you your name, because at that time he was choosing the names for Kirtananda. So I had no clue, I had no idea. And I was like, all those years, I never knew like how I got that name, Vraja Lila. It didn't sound like the names that Kirtananda was giving, but I never thought to even question it. And so Krishna's will, we cannot get away from Krishna's will. You know, Krishna's will is beyond anything that we can think about. Who can understand how Krishna arranges our lives, right? And so this fear of Devaki and these prayers that she's offering to the Lord, as I was saying, for me, because I am so much immersed in my body, and because the separation of when Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj left, it stays with me, and I have this fear always that everybody around me is going to leave. Somehow, my husband is going to leave, this one is going to leave, everyone is going to leave, and so that's a fear that I face, that I'm constantly like going to Krishna. Krishna, please help me. Krishna, please help me with this fear. I know it's not logical, however, it's real, Krishna. So not that I'm in any way comparing that to Devaki, because Devaki is a pure soul. Devaki is teaching us. She's teaching us by her example, and she's helping us to understand, yes, there is fear. And when we have fear, go to Krishna, go to Krishna. And so we'll take another minute to reflect, another couple of minutes on fear. And you can write again if you like in the chat if there's anything that you want to pray to Krishna to remove in terms of fears that you might have. If you want. This is a time, Janmashtami, for us to go to Krishna with those internal things that may be blocking us in our spiritual development, our spiritual advancement. And so let's see how this will work before us.
Shri Krishna Govinda Hari Murari Hey Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hari Murari Hey Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hari Murari Hey Nath Narayana Vasudeva 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 Shri Krishna Govinda Hari Murari Hey Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hari Murari Hey Nath Narayana Vasudeva 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 Shri Krishna Govinda Hari Murari Hey Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hari Murari Hey Nath Narayana Vasudeva Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari.
Haribol. So Devaki, she was afraid for Krishna. She was afraid for Krishna because she understood that Kamsa might possibly hurt Krishna. And she did not want that. She did not want Krishna anything. She didn't want anything to happen to Krishna. And so in that mood, she's praying to Krishna to please take the fear away from me. In my case, being a conditioned soul, because I have so much fear of material energy, living in material energy, I'm so fearful. So on Janmashtami Day, I take this day, so sacred of a day, to offer my heart and beg Krishna, please, please, free me from this fear of being abandoned. Free me from this fear, because Krishna is our only protector, ultimately. So thank you, Kamaniya. And now another point in this pastime that touched my heart is the part of Kamsa, the atrocities of Kamsa. So, you know, here's Devaki. Why is she afraid? Why is she afraid of Kamsa? Because Kamsa's done some very kind of really horrible things. We can't even imagine. We're in Kali Yuga now. And it's difficult to think of a brother killing 6 children of his sister, even though it happens, how things like this happen, but not so much like this, where, you know, at one time, one brother decides to kill all the children of his sister. It's kind of, you know, just so, yeah, something that's just so horrible when we think about it in so many ways. This Kamsa, he actually, this brother, he was quite knowledgeable. He was very knowledgeable, Kamsa. He understood philosophy. He even understood the science of the body and the soul. And so when he's having all this, when Devaki is having all this fear of him, and Durga Devi appears to him, you know, she comes and she's, you know, Durga Devi. Well, everybody knows Durga Devi and how she looks, right? And she appears, when she appears to Kamsa, because Durga Devi is worshipable, so he's really like confused. At first he's confused. He's like, how is it possible? How is it possible that this Durga Devi, this goddess, the demigoddess, she can appear from Devaki's womb? This Devaki is not ordinary. He realizes right away, she is not ordinary. There's something very special. There's something very, you know, sacred about Devaki. And so he bows down to Devaki and Vasudeva, Devaki and her husband, and he starts speaking all this philosophy. First, he starts speaking all the philosophy about why he's, you know, why he did what he did, right? You know, like we say, like, okay, Kamsa is defending himself, but he's defending himself with knowledge of the philosophy, which is quite amazing for someone that just killed 6 children. And then Devaki, being this very pure soul, Devaki, Prabhupada explains that Devaki is actually no different from Krishna, which means that, you know, she's coming, you know, she's sent, right, by Krishna. And so she's hearing all this philosophy from Kamsa, and her heart is so soft, so soft. So she forgives Kamsa, she and Vasudeva, because Durga Devi, material energy, brings Kamsa down to his knees, right? When he's begging her with philosophy that it's not my fault, you know, it's like, this is all these children, this is providence. This is how it's been arranged. It's been arranged like this. And so not that Devaki believed him. However, Devaki heard him speak such potent, a powerful philosophy, and how in Kamsa's mood of speaking the philosophy, he was like begging Vasudeva and Devaki, you know, that please don't punish me for this. And so Devaki, with her soft heart, her and her husband, they forgave Kamsa. They forgave him. Now, of course, we know that in this pastime, Kamsa goes back and he listens to his ministers, and we know that his ministers convinced him, you know, because he had actually taken Devaki and Vasudeva out of the prison. He removed them from the prison. He put them back in the palace because, you know, he really, like, because of Durga Devi, he thought, whoa, I did something really not good. And so he wanted to kind of rectify his you know, the activities that he'd done. However, when he saw his ministers the next day, the ministers, they convinced him, you know, you can't just, you know, let this go. That child is somewhere, you know? And so this, you know, this will, if you, and this is the mood of the demons, if you let this go, if you just, you know, because they've forgiven you, now everything is okay and you don't worry about this child anymore, then that's going to be like the destruction of our dynasty, right? And so that's the mood of a demon. But however, what is important, and for me, at least what was important for me, was to see that mood of Devaki and Vasudeva, how much they were open with their hearts to forgive Kamsa. And so this forgiveness, you know, forgiveness is something that it's not always easy for us to understand. Definitely not always easy because, yeah, forgiveness, you know, when we are not forgiving, we harbor inside of our hearts many perhaps painful memories. And, you know, a lot of emotions that are based in resentments and anger and grudges and, you know, all of these different emotions that really disconnect us. They disconnect us from our true self, from who we really are. And so forgiveness is not just letting another person off the hook. Actually, Radha Dasi, who was on yesterday, she's done a class on forgiveness. If you haven't seen that class, please watch that class. It's important for us as Vaishnavis because, you know, as Vaishnavis, we have so many things that happens to us, even before maybe we became devotees, that we may still be holding on to, that we're not maybe sometimes realizing. And we're not realizing how much those things, those emotions that we still hold on to can be blocking us from having this mood of Devaki, that her heart is just so open. She's so she so much understands Krishna's will. She so much understands Krishna's will that she's able to forgive Kamsa. It explains that the more understanding we have, or the more knowledgeable we are spiritually, the more we're able to forgive. And so this forgiveness is so important for us during this period of Janmashtami, because we want to approach Krishna today with a pure heart, with an open heart, with a loving heart. And so we want to face those emotions that may be there, that might be distractions from us having this forgiving mood, this loving mood of Devaki. And we want to pray to Krishna today to please, my dear Lord, please help me, you know, to become free. Please help me to become free from whatever may be distracting me from letting go from things of the past or people, activities, situations, whatever it may be. This forgiveness is the mood of coming to Krishna. We come to Krishna in that mood, begging, my dear Lord, please, please give me this gift today in Janmashtami of a forgiving heart, of having a forgiving nature, so that I can learn more how to love you. And so I know in my own life, this is something that, this forgiveness is something that I work on all the time, praying to the Lord, especially for me, sometimes being involved with projects or working with devotees. You know, sometimes I've had experiences that have been very painful, working with devotees. I'm sure many of us have had. And, you know, taking responsibility, which Srila Govinda, a few days ago, she shared so beautifully what taking responsibility means, really to go to Krishna, really to go to Krishna and to ask Krishna, you know, to ask Krishna to take shelter of Krishna and to know that Krishna is maintaining us, right? Krishna is maintaining us. And so taking responsibility means we then go to Krishna and we offer it to Krishna, whatever it may be that we need to take responsibility for. And so in my own life, I am practicing this, like, how do I take responsibility for some of the pain I may have felt, you know, in my interactions, you know, with different devotees, especially when it comes to doing different projects. And I realize I just need to go to Krishna. I just need to pray to Krishna to give me a forgiving heart. Because, you know, we're not perfect. None of us are perfect in the sense that we're, you know, in material energy. At least I have this experience myself, for me. And so, yes, praying to the Lord for forgiveness. And so today, again, if you would like, please in the chat, maybe share something about forgiveness that's important for you, in this mood of how Devaki was able to forgive Kamsa for all the things that Kamsa did. And Kamsa himself, his heart actually had become softened after Durga Devi, after seeing Durga Devi. He actually became the person that we would want him to be. Of course, he's playing the role of a demon, so he plays that role very expertly, extremely expertly. So let's hear about forgiveness.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna's Will, Janmashtami celebration. Today we're celebrating Krishna's will in our lives. As we remember Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he says to us, remember humility, remembering surrendering oneself to Krishna, remember accepting Krishna as one's maintainer, remember having firm faith that Krishna will give one protection, remember accepting activities that are favorable for devotional service to Krishna, and remember rejecting activities that are unfavorable for devotional service to Krishna. This is the mood of Devaki and Vasudeva. And so today we take shelter of the Supreme Lord who will appear tonight, and we want to share one last clip with all of you to remind us that today is the day that we beg to be free from our different stumbling blocks. Fear, not being able to forgive, entering in the mood of Devaki, who has a soft heart, and bringing our consciousness, redirecting our consciousness so that we can be committed to Krishna's will.
some trouble in the forest because that's what I practiced at the beginning.
They sing. They sing.
There are some trouble in the forest because that's what I practiced at the beginning. Was saying some Asura, some Asura, and Krishna would be the prize of the time and the story, the father, oh my God, such a thing. So Krishna was there. The Mother speaking of Krishna, the boy speaking of Krishna. So therefore they not know anything about Krishna. Krishna never tells some problem of Krishna. When there is act of Krishna, that is. They are mind, and soul is Krishna. Not to feel that, not to understand, but that's love Krishna. He is born, our friend, our lover, our master. So, Krishna. Hare Krishna,
Stop it. Hari Hari. So my dear Kamaniya, I hope everyone was able to see that little clip, and we thank you so very much for being with us in this presentation. Kamaniya, she will give us a celebratory rendition of having Krishna in our hearts. And then if we are open to some questions from the Vaishnavis, if you like, or the sharings that you may have had in the chat. So, Kamaniya.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much, Mother Vraj Lila, for this opportunity to serve the Vaishnavis. And there's another actually very ancient mantra that I would like to invite all the Vaishnavis in attendance on Zoom to join me in. And you might recognize the melody and the mantra. So I invite you to please unmute yourselves and join me if you know the melody. So please, everybody, unmute yourselves.
She got her thing back. Nice.
Everybody's unmuted? Wonderful. It's quite a well-known melody and quite a well-known mantra, so I think you'll pick it up very quickly.
She's so beautiful.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Wrong one. Goes like this. Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna, Mother Vraj Lila, Hare Krishna to you, and again, Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna, Mother Vraj Lila, Hare Krishna. One more time, for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna to you,
Hare Krishna to you,
Hare Krishna, Mother Vraj Lila, Hare Krishna to you. Shower Mother Vraj Lila with love on her birthday.
Hare Krishna.
Birthday, Mother Vraj Lila, heart hands. Happy birthday, Mother Vraj Lila. To get you back somehow. So not only is it Janmashtami in America today, but it's also Mother Vraj Lila's appearance day. And I'm just so grateful that she chose to incarnate one last time just to come and help us. So grateful. And I saw Ekavira Prabhu very quickly there in the corner hiding. So we wanted to just take that opportunity in the mood of celebration to wish you a very wonderful birthday, and we're just so grateful for your love. You're one of the most loving devotees and humans that I know. We're truly very grateful for you. So everybody please mute again, because Mother
Can I say something?
questions.
Because I'm in shock. I'm in total shock. And I just want to, I'm in total shock. Kamini, you got back at me. You did. You really did.
It was Paramatma. He inspired me to do it.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. But, I just really, I am so grateful to my spiritual master, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, to Srila Prabhupada, to the Vaishnavis who are bringing Krishna consciousness alive through the mouths and the minds and the hearts of the Vaishnavis. And, I just, in my heart, I just want to pray to Krishna today on Janmashtami that I can really appreciate this process of bhakti and all the devotees that are practicing this process of bhakti. So please bless me, please pray for me, please let me develop this mood of Devaki, please. Thank you.
Jai. Before we end the Zoom meeting, we'll give everybody an opportunity to just come unmuted again to express their thanks. But we have a few minutes left, and Mother Vraj Lila would welcome questions. There's one question that's a little not so much fitting the mood of celebration, so we'll find another opportunity to ask it, because we're going to arrange at some point a seminar on forgiveness. So we can find another opportunity to ask more questions about forgiveness. But I'm wondering if anybody has a question that's related to today, and that will keep us in this mood of celebration to welcome the advent of Lord Sri Krishna. I'll make one question that I received a little bit more general. And the question was, how do we forgive people who have hurt others when one is not pure, like Devaki?
Yes. I can speak for myself. I'm definitely not pure like Devaki. I'm just grateful that we have these examples, in our scriptures for us to aspire for. Otherwise, how would I even begin to understand how to be forgiving, right? I would just be holding on to all my emotions that keep me locked inside of me, inside of my mind. So really, the examples of these great devotees, this is one of the ways that we can learn to be forgiving, just by hearing. Today is such a beautiful opportunity for us to hear. There's so many beautiful Vaishnavis, Kunti Devi, Draupadi. Draupadi's heart was so soft. There's so many amazing Vaishnavis that we can learn from in our scriptures. And also in our everyday life, one of the ways that I'm able to practice forgiveness is first to be able to forgive myself. Today is a day that we can also pray to Krishna for anything that we would want to be forgiven with ourselves that we may be doing or we have done that may not have contributed to the joy of another person. These are things that we also do things. So in terms of forgiving myself, there's some tools that I would like to maybe share in the future. However, I check within myself to see, what feelings were there, what are some of the emotions that I'm carrying for not forgiving. The activity may be there, the activity of what's done either to me or what I've done to someone else, that will be there. And then I check, okay, so what's the feeling that's coming up for me? So the feeling may be anger, the feeling may be disturbance, the feeling may be annoyance, the feeling may be resentment, right? And then I check and see, well, what need did I have? Why those feelings were coming up? And often what I find within myself, that I had so much of a need to be accepted and so much of a need to belong, right? To belong to the community, belong to, some assembly, this belonging, wanting to belong to a group, wanting to belong in the hearts of other devotees. And when I am able to understand those needs that I may have, then I'm able to know, okay, I have a need for acceptance. Krishna, please. I know you accept me, Krishna. I know you accept me. Please, let me remember that. Let me remember that you're accepting me. And please allow me to start accepting that within myself, that you accept me. And once I do that, then I'm able to start that process of forgiving another person or even forgiving myself. Once I identify what's really going on inside, uncovering the whatever the muck might be inside of me. And so these are tools that I use in my daily life. Actually, this is what I teach in mediation. This is what I teach in communication basics. How to be reflective within ourselves, how to understand what needs we have. And like, for example, although Devaki is a very pure personality, Devaki had a need to protect. Of course, we don't use, this is, as we said, Devaki is a very pure personality. At the same time, she had that fear within herself because she had a need for Krishna's protection. She wanted Krishna to be protected. She had that strong need for Krishna to be protected. In most cases, as I said earlier, we're thinking about ourselves, right? We're thinking about me. This person did this to me. How could they have done that to me? And then that makes it difficult. That makes it difficult. And so Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj also gives a tool of walking in the other person's shoe, trying to understand what's going on for the other person. So sometimes we don't say to forget. We don't forget. I'm sorry, Devaki did not forget what Kamsa did. She didn't forget. She forgave him. She didn't forget. So we don't say forget. We say do pray to remove those obstacles. And prayer. Today's a day for prayer. Prayer is so important. Today, it's Krishna Janma. Krishna is open. He's open for us. It's like a day that we can really go to him and say, Krishna, this is what's in my heart. And Krishna definitely will make arrangements for us. Definitely. This is a special day. I hope that answers your question. I also want to take this moment to share that Radha Dasi has a beautiful class on YouTube given by Tawako Temple, where she's speaking about forgiveness. And it's very wonderful. You know, when hearing that class is very instructive, and please go to that class. I also want to take a minute to really, just in case I don't get this opportunity, to let you know that this presentation is a collective effort. You know, of course, Kamaniya offering and agreeing, you know, to chant. And I have my dear friend here with me that is doing this tech stuff, because all these tech things can sometimes be very confusing. And so I want to just show her before she leaves. My dear friend, she's here and she's on her way back. So I thank her so much for coming and helping me with all this tech stuff. And of course, all the devotees, all the Vaishnavis that are making this possible, from the Sangha. Yes, my dear friend Brajasaki. Yes, Brajasaki. And from the Vaishnavi Sangha, you're doing so much. All of you are doing so much. And we're grateful. We're so very, very grateful. Thank you. So just in case I don't get to say that.
We can get you back soon then, huh? Because I know Vaishnavis are going to want to hear from you on these topics. You mentioned communication and mediation. And I know you're in conversation with Sharadi about that. Do you have time for maybe 1 or 2 questions?
Yeah, sure.
So one question from Sweet Radhika. She says, Hare Krishna Devraj Lila Prabhu, thank you for this joyful day. How do we keep the joy of Janmashtami in our heart every day while experiencing the stress of work or studies? That's such a wonderful question.
Yes, see it as an offering to Krishna today. Whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's work, whether it's studying, whatever it is, it's an offering for Krishna today. Today is Krishna's day. So anything that we do, actually Krishna is everything that we do. Just make it for Krishna. It's for Krishna today. Has nothing to do with my physical body, my physical mind, my physical intelligence. It is for Krishna. And let Krishna bless that, whatever that is you're doing.
And so this could apply to tomorrow and the day after and the day after that and next week and next month too?
Of course. Let's start. Like Radha said yesterday, baby steps. Let's start today with that baby step. I'm offering you, Krishna, today, everything that I am doing. Everything I am doing today. And Krishna will give us that empowerment, if you will, to carry that on throughout the rest of our year, the rest of our life. And when we feel that we're not having that, call a Vaishnavi. Vaishnavi. Get reminded, we are a collective. We are interdependent with each other. Please let us share the love with each other. We need each other. We want to be there for each other. That's why I say whenever I do anything, I need a team. I have to have a team. It doesn't feel the same to try to do things on my own. So I call people, I call everybody, please, I need help. I need help.
like Kamania. Kamania, I need you to sing. Ouch, my bruised arm. I so much appreciate this point that you just made about how we need each other as sisters, as Vaishnavis. And what would you like to see as our senior, as our spiritual auntie? What would you like to see the younger Vaishnavis doing in order to strengthen our relationships with each other and to strengthen each other? What could we do to make you proud?
Woo, that's a big order coming here. You know, as you were speaking, I was thinking of His Holiness Radhanath Swami and so many of Srila Prabhupada's representatives, you know, how they have given their lives, you know, in so many ways. Radhanath Swami, Giriraj Maharaj, all these very senior devotees, written books. I mean, how they share their love amongst each other with us, how they let us see how to love. You know, that was the reason that I, you know, could not think of serving. I mean, that was the reason I kept serving Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, went to Africa, because I wanted to understand how could he love someone so much? Like, how is that possible that he loved Srila Prabhupada in such a way that he woke up one morning because he had a dream from Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada in the dream pointed in a direction of him going to Africa, and he did it. He just like 2 days, 3 days later, he was gone. And I was like, how could you love somebody so much? How is that possible? I wanted to learn that. I'm still wanting to learn that. I am praying to learn that. How do you do that? How do you love someone so much? So what I have found in my life is the more I give love to the capacity that I'm able to give love, then to that degree, I also receive love from others. So the more we give, the more we receive. And we're not giving just to receive. It's just a natural scientific part of giving. If you give, you receive. So how do I learn to give? I learn from those persons that are examples of giving. So Radhanath Swami is, for me, one of those examples, constantly giving his life to others, serving others. I mean, so many examples. Like I said, Giriraj Maharaj, his body's older body, constantly giving himself. So many of Prabhupada's representatives. So we have many to learn from. The Vaishnavis, we have so many Vaishnavis to learn from. Look at Vishaka, how she's, at this age, she's a temple president in London. You know, she's giving herself to serve others, to give her love to others. Ananda Vrindavan in Washington, D.C., just so much love. There's so much love that I see in the Vaishnavis that I want to be like that. I just want to be like that. I want to be loving. So I'm praying to Krishna always, please. I know I have so much crap, Krishna, but please help me. Let me learn how to be loving. Yes, so again, Krishna's will. Let's do things for Krishna's will. Krishna is love. He wants us to connect with that love. Krishna wants that. That's his will. That's Prabhupada's will. Prabhupada did that for all of us. So let us all do it for each other. Yes.
You are love, Mother Vraj Lila. Really, you have a heart-shaped smile, and we're just so very, very grateful to you. I think all we have to do is follow in your footsteps, and we'll be good.
Let's follow in Krishna's footsteps, Devaki's footsteps.
Yeah. What inspired me very much yesterday, you joined us for Radha Prabhu's workshop, and you just came to attend. And I remember we let you into the meeting a little bit early, and just to watch the two of you as spiritual sisters gushing over each other and appreciating each other and just being so excited to see each other. That really touched our hearts very, very much. And also to see how you were engaging and interacting at the end. And I think these are the examples that we want to watch and see and and learn from and take inspiration from. So very, very grateful that you came to attend. And it was a real treat. And to hear from you today is wonderful. And we can't wait to have you back, really. So I hope that you'll be able to find some time in your schedule that we can squeeze some more nectar out of you again. Very,
Thank you.
Are there any parting words you want to say?
I am reflection again of many, many senior Vaishnavis. I see Vishaka Priya on this call. Vishaka Priya, I mean, her to her spiritual master, her whole existence, you know. So when I see devotees like these, yeah, these senior Vaishnavis, they're inspiring for me, and they allow me the freedom within myself to be able to know I can be more. I can develop more. I can, you know, be more connected, if you will, to the sector. I can become more reflective of these personalities. I can. By Krishna's will, I can. Thank you.
Jai. Thank you very much, Mata, for your encouragement. And very grateful for all the Vaishnavis who joined us on Facebook and on Zoom. And I know a few of you had some actually very serious and deep questions about forgiveness. And I didn't mean to dishonor you by not asking them. I just felt like Mother Vrajlila very much wanted today to be about the celebration, because for her it is Janmashtami today. And I'm going to save your questions, and we'll make sure we find another opportunity to address the topics that you asked about, because they're important. And we'll keep you posted. And very, very grateful for your participation. Before I stop the live stream and before I close the Zoom meeting, I just want to invite everybody to unmute. And if you want to take a brief moment to express whatever's in your heart to Mother Vrajlila, please go ahead.
I was also wondering if we could maybe, okay, you've gone through the chat, yes?
Yes, I'm going to save the chat.
Okay. And I'll respond. We will respond.
We will respond. Devaki Priti, my little sister, please.
I see I have two goddaughters on this call, Devaki Priti and Ladini Dasi.
Jai, I'm trying to, okay, Devaki Priti, you're unmuted.
Is Ladini trying to go first? Her thing keeps coming up.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Devaki. We've been
Thank
talking
you
about you all afternoon.
Thank you so much, Mata, for pulling out just like key things from the story that we can connect with. And I really like how you emphasize the importance of praying to Krishna today, and giving our hearts to Krishna and really asking him to help us remove these things that we don't want, and to go deeper with what we do have as we try to serve. So thank you so much.
Thank you, my love. Thank you for being such a supporter of always devotees. You serve devotees. Thank you.
Ladini Mataji, would you like to say something?
If I can unmute.
Would you like to say something, Ladini Mataji? We can hear you.
Oh, okay, I can do the video. Hare Krishna Vrajlila Mataji. It's Ladini from London.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Yes, it was wonderful. You know, I've been actually following you a lot on the Zoom.
Thank you.
So it was, I mean, we are not celebrating Janmashtami till tomorrow, but this is a nice start to our celebration.
Wow. Thank you, Ladini, my dear friend in England. Thank you so much.
No, it was good to see you, good to hear you. Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Dr. Priya Prabhu, would you like to share something?
Hare Krishna Vrajlila.
Haribol. Oh.
I'm waiting for you here in Vrindavan. I've been stuck in the ashram for 7 months. I haven't seen anybody. I'm so happy to see all of your lotus faces here.
Thank you. Vishaka Priya, I just pray that I can one day be as surrendered as you are.
Well, it might surprise you that my mind is not surrendered at all. Not at all. But externally, I guess I look surrendered.
I don't think you could be in Vrindavan all the years that you've been in Vrindavan, and I'm not sure Krishna would allow you.
Actually, I'll tell you something funny. I joined in South Africa in '78 on Prabhupada's first disappearance day, actually. And I went through a couple of gurus, and then I met Giriraj Swami. And in 1990, he had just come back from India after having been deported for a few years. And he was telling us about Vrindavan, what a wonderful place it was. He was speaking about the original Vrindavan. And then he spoke to Vrindavan on earth. And he said, Vrindavan is a very heavy place. And he pointed at me and he said, that's why I'm so anxious to send her to Vrindavan. She's such a heavy person. She needs a heavy person. That's by his mercy that I'm still here after all these years. But it's just his causeless mercy. So that I get beaten up, and then I can become sweet like all of you, Kamaniya, Lila, and Sarvamangala, and Sati, and you.
Krishna's will.
Krishna's will.
Ladies, I had stopped the live stream, so please feel free to share anything you'd like to share. Now it's only 17 of us.
Hare Krishna, this is Mathura Lileshwari.
Haribol, Mathura Devi.
Hare Krishna, this was really a very wonderful Sangha. I really appreciate it so much, and happy Janmashtami to all those who are celebrating today. And I would like to thank Mother Vraja Lila for talking about the real things like forgiveness, fear. And I think this kind of information sometimes is not available in most of the other Sanghas. So I am truly indebted to her. And thank you, Mother Vraja Lila. Happy birthday and happy Janmashtami.